Here's the question. Describe a film that made you laugh, you should say. What it is, when you watched it, who you watched it with, and explain why it made you laugh. Short pause. Okay, here we go. The simulated Band 8 response.
I'd like to talk about a film that really made me laugh, and that's Three Idiots. It's a popular Bollywood comedy that I watched for the first time about 3 years ago. I saw it with my family during the weekend, and we all sat together in the living room. The movie is about three friends in college who get into all sorts of funny situations, and the main character, played by Amir Khan, is always doing something clever or silly. What made me laugh the most were the pranks they played on their strict teachers and the funny way they talked to each other. There's one scene where they mess up a speech in front of the whole college, and my dad and I couldn't stop laughing. I think the film was so funny because the humor was natural and the characters were really relatable. It also had a good message about following your dreams, but it was told in a light and entertaining way. Whenever I think about that movie, it still makes me smile, and I love watching it again with friends.
Thank you. Okay, now we move on to part 3. These questions, they dig a bit deeper into related topics.
Yeah, more abstract.
First question. Do people like comedy?
Yes, I think most people enjoy comedy because it helps them relax and forget their worries for a while. For example, after a long day at work or school, watching a funny show or movie can really lift your mood. I know my friends and I often watch comedies together to have a good laugh. Comedy is a great way to bring people together and make life more enjoyable.
Okay. Why do people of all ages like cartoons?
People of all ages like cartoons because they are fun, colorful, and often have simple stories that are easy to understand. Kids enjoy the funny characters and adventures, while adults sometimes watch cartoons to remember their childhood or just to relax. For example, my parents still enjoy watching Tom and Jerry with me because it's timeless and always makes us laugh.
Interesting. Why do some people like to make others laugh?
Some people like to make others laugh because it makes them feel happy and connected. When you make someone laugh, you can see them smile and feel good, which is rewarding. For example, my cousin always tells jokes at family gatherings, and everyone enjoys his stories. Making others laugh can also help break the ice and make new friends.
And finally, should teachers tell jokes in class?
I think teachers should tell jokes in class sometimes because it makes the lessons more interesting and helps students feel relaxed. For example, my math teacher used to tell funny stories, and it made the class more fun. Of course, jokes should be appropriate, but a little humor can help students pay attention and enjoy learning more.
Thank you. Okay, so that gives us a pretty clear picture of a strong Band 8 performance.
Definitely. You can hear the fluency, right? The structure in part 2 is clear. The part 3 answers are developed. The language is accurate. It's effective. It does the job well.
Right. Solid stuff. Now let's immediately switch gears. Same questions exactly, but this time the response is aiming for Band 9.
Okay.
Listen carefully now for those differences. Phrasing, word choice.
Yeah. Hearing the same questions answered but aiming higher, it's really revealing. It's not just what you say.
It's how you say it, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, here is the simulated Band 9 response to the part 2 question. Describe a film that made you laugh.
Same prompt.
Same prompt. What it is, when you watched it, who with, and why it made you laugh. Short pause. All right, let's hear the Band 9 version.
I'd like to talk about a film that genuinely made me laugh out loud, and that's The Intern, a Hollywood comedy starring Robert De Niro and Anne Hathaway. I watched it about a year ago with my best friend during a movie night at her place. The story revolves around a retired man who becomes an intern at a modern tech company, and the contrast between his old-fashioned ways and the young, energetic office culture creates endless hilarious moments. One scene that really stood out was when De Niro's character tries to navigate social media for the first time. It was both awkward and incredibly funny. What made the film so amusing for me was the clever dialogue and the way the characters handled everyday situations with humor and warmth. I also appreciated the subtle jokes about generational differences, which my friend and I could both relate to. Overall, The Intern made me laugh because it combined witty humor with genuine emotion, and I left the movie feeling both entertained and uplifted. It's definitely a film I'd recommend to anyone looking for a good laugh.
Thank you. Okay, and now for the part 3 answers. Again, aiming for band 9.
Right, yeah.
First question. Do people like comedy?
Absolutely. Comedy is universally loved because it provides a much-needed escape from daily stress and brings people together. Laughter has been shown to reduce anxiety and improve mood, which is why so many people turn to comedies after a tough day. For example, my friends and I often choose stand-up specials or sitcoms when we want to unwind and share a few laughs. Comedy also helps build social bonds, making it an essential part of human interaction.
Why do people of all ages like cartoons?
Cartoons appeal to all age groups because they offer a blend of creativity, nostalgia, and humor. For children, the vibrant visuals and imaginative stories are captivating, while adults often appreciate the clever jokes and subtle life lessons. For instance, shows like SpongeBob SquarePants or The Simpsons contain humor that resonates with both kids and grown-ups. Cartoons also provide a comforting escape, allowing viewers to revisit simpler times or just enjoy pure entertainment.
Why do some people like to make others laugh?
Many people enjoy making others laugh because it creates a positive atmosphere and strengthens relationships. Humor can be a powerful tool for breaking the ice, easing tension, or simply spreading joy. For example, one of my colleagues is known for her quick wit, and her jokes always lighten the mood during stressful meetings. Making others laugh also boosts the joker's own confidence and happiness, fostering a sense of connection and belonging.
And finally, should teachers tell jokes in class?
I believe teachers should definitely incorporate humor into their lessons, as it makes the classroom environment more engaging and approachable. Well-timed jokes can capture students' attention, reduce anxiety, and even enhance memory retention. For example, my history teacher used to tell funny anecdotes related to the topic, which made it easier for us to remember important facts. Of course, the humor should be appropriate and inclusive, but overall, it's a valuable teaching tool.
Wow. Okay. Hearing those, side by side, the difference is really clear, isn't it?
It really is.
Even when the basic message is similar, it's more than just what was said. It's the richness, the precision of how it was put.
Exactly right. And this is where we get to the core of this deep dive.
Yeah.
Our source material, it doesn't just give us the answers. It actually highlights the specific vocabulary that makes that difference between the scores.
Okay.
So let's dig into that language now. Maybe start with the Band 8 Part 2 response, the one about 3 idiots.
All right. Sounds good. What were some of those key phrases or words that the source points out as being like typical of that band 8 level?
Well, the source picks out phrases that are, clear, natural, descriptive, good quality stuff, like really made me laugh.
Okay. Simple enough.
Yeah, definition is straightforward. Caused me to laugh a lot. And the sentence was, a film that really made me laugh is 3 Idiots. Gets the job done.
Simple, effective. Yep. What else?
There was all sorts of funny situations. Again, conveys variety pretty accessibly. It means a variety of amusing or comical scenarios.
Right.
The sentence, the movie is about 3 friends who get into all sorts of funny situations.
That phrase, all sorts of, yeah, very common. Sounds natural.
It really does.
Yeah.
And describing the main character, doing something clever or silly, meaning, acting in a smart or humorous way that causes laughter
Okay.
from the response. The main character is always doing something clever or silly.
Captures the idea.
Yeah, it captures the essence of what a funny character might do.
Then we saw the noun pranks, referring to mischievous tricks played to amuse or annoy someone. Pretty specific. Sentence was, what made me laugh the most were the pranks they played on their strict teachers. A classic comedy setup.
Totally. And a classic reaction. Couldn't stop laughing. Describes that strong reaction vividly, meaning found something so funny that laughing continued for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Used in the response. My dad and I couldn't stop laughing.
Relatable.
Right.
Very relatable.
And describing the type of comedy, natural humor, defined as comedy that feels unforced or genuine.
Okay, so not forced, not fake.
Exactly. Since the humor was natural and the characters are really relatable, and then describing the film's overall tone, told in a light and entertaining way, meaning presented in a humorous and enjoyable manner. From the response, the message was told in a light and entertaining way. Good for describing tone.
Yeah, effective.
And finally, the lasting effect still makes me smile, meaning continues to bring joy or amusement even after time has passed.
Nice.
The sentence, whenever I think about that movie, it still makes me smile.
So, okay, these band 8 phrases, they're strong, they're clear, they get the meaning across accurately. Shows a good handle on everyday descriptive language.
Absolutely. Does the job well. Now, let's switch to the Band 9 Part 2 response about the intern. This is where we see the language get maybe a bit more precise, a bit more varied.
Okay, so what was the Band 9 equivalent for really made me laugh? How did that change?
The Band 9 response used genuinely made me laugh out loud. It's more emphatic, isn't it?
Genuinely?
Yeah. The definition given is truly caused audible laughter. And the sentence, a film that genuinely made me laugh out loud is The Intern.
Ah, okay. Adding genuinely and specifying out loud, it definitely intensifies it. Feels more specific, like you could almost hear the laughter.
Exactly. And instead of just saying, I watched it with my best friend, we got more context with movie night.
Yeah.
Meaning a casual event where people gather to watch movies together.
Right.
Sentence, I watched it with my best friend during a movie night at her place.
Yeah, that adds a bit more flavor, doesn't it? Describes the whole setting, not just the who.
Little details.
Yeah.
And introducing the plot instead of just is about, the Band 9 used revolves around, meaning is centered on or focused on.
Okay.
Sentence. The story revolves around a retired man who becomes an intern.
Revolves around, yeah, it feels a bit more dynamic, like the whole story spins out from that point.
Slightly more sophisticated verb choice, maybe.
I think so.
Uh.
And instead of all sorts of funny situations, Band 9 elevated this to endless hilarious moments, meaning many very funny scenes or incidents. Okay. Endless and hilarious, stronger words.
Much stronger adjectives, yeah. Implying both quantity and like a higher degree of funniness than just funny. Sentence. His old-fashioned ways created endless hilarious moments.
Got it.
And describing the type of humor, more specifically the pairing awkward, incredibly funny, meaning uncomfortable in a way that causes laughter. Sentence. It was both awkward and incredibly funny.
That captures a very specific kind of comedy, doesn't it? Not just funny, but funny because it's awkward. Cringe comedy almost.
Exactly, that kind of nuance. Then, moving to the film's elements, clever dialogue was highlighted, meaning witty or smartly written conversation between characters.
Right.
Sentence. What made the film so amusing was the clever dialogue.
That focuses more on the writing itself, the script. Shows a bit more appreciation for how the film was made, maybe.
I think it does. And related to that, subtle jokes, defined as humorous remarks that are not obvious and require some thought. Sentence. I appreciated the subtle jokes about generational differences.
Again, showing appreciation for nuance, moving beyond just the obvious laughs.
Precisely. And finally, capturing the overall feel. Instead of just natural humor, Band 9 used witty humor with genuine emotion, meaning intelligent, sharp comedy paired with heartfelt moments.
Wow. Okay.
Sentence. It combined witty humor with genuine emotion.
That's a much richer phrase. Packs more in. Describes multiple facets of the film's appeal. The wit, the heart.
Yeah. So summing up part 2, the Band 9 vocabulary, it isn't just different words. It's often more specific, uses stronger adjectives, hilarious, incredibly funny, more descriptive nouns like dialogue, and these more nuanced combinations like awkward and incredibly funny, or witty humor with genuine emotion.
Fascinating comparison. Let's see if that pattern holds up in part 3. What stood out in the Band 8 part 3 answers vocabulary-wise?
Okay, part 3, band 8. For why people like comedy, phrases like helps them relax, meaning reduces stress or tension.
Yeah.
Sentence, comedy helps people relax and forget their worries. And also lift your mood, meaning make someone feel happier.
Okay, clear benefits.
Correct. Clear benefits. Yeah. And the social side was described with bring people together, meaning unite people or create a shared experience.
Mm-hmm.
Sentence, comedy is a great way to bring people together. Simple, everyday phrase for a common idea.
Makes sense.
Talking about cartoons, the word timeless was used, meaning never goes out of style or becomes outdated.
Good word choice there.
Very appropriate.
That counts.
Sentence, Tom and Jerry is timeless and always makes us laugh. For why people make others laugh, the idiom break the ice, meaning start a conversation or interaction in a relaxed way.
Classic idiom.
Yeah. Sentence, making others laugh can help break the ice. And simply make new friends, meaning form new relationships. Sentence, it helps people make new friends, both common functional phrases.
Functional, right.
And for teachers using humor, things like more fun, more enjoyable, or entertaining. Sentence, it made the class more fun. And pay attention, focus, or listen carefully. Sentence, a little humor can help students pay attention.
So again, Band 8 is using vocabulary that's, accurate, functional, lets you express the ideas clearly. It's solid.
Perfectly good answer, absolutely. Now let's contrast that with Band 9, Part 3. For why people like comedy instead of most people enjoy or helps them relax, we heard universally loved.
Strong.
Much stronger claim, yeah. Meaning appreciated by everyone. Sentence, comedy is universally loved because it helps people escape stress.
Universally loved definitely elevates the idea compared to most people enjoy.
It does. And describing the benefit, instead of just forget their worries or relax, Band 9 used phrases like escape from daily stress, meaning get temporary relief from life's pressures.
Right.
And the word unwind, meaning relax and stop worrying.
Okay.
Sentences. It provides a much-needed escape from daily stress, and we often choose comedies to unwind after a tough day.
So escape from daily stress is maybe a bit more formal or detailed, and unwind is just a very natural, idiomatic way to say relax. More variety there.
Exactly. More tools in the toolbox. And for the social benefit, instead of bring people together, Band 9 used build social bonds, meaning strengthen relationships through shared experiences.
Build social bonds.
Sentence, comedy helps build social bonds. Adds a slightly more maybe academic or sociological feel.
Yeah.
Higher register.
Yeah, a little bit. Interesting. What about cartoons?
Okay, cartoons. Instead of just fun, colorful, and simple stories, Band 9 described the appeal as a blend of creativity, nostalgia, and humor.
Blend of nice.
Meaning a mix of imaginative elements, fond memories, and comedy. Sentence, cartoons offer a blend of creativity, nostalgia, and humor. Much more sophisticated description, right? It's multiple elements.
Definitely more sophisticated.
And the reasons adults like them went beyond just remember their childhood. Band 9 mentioned clever jokes and subtle life lessons, meaning smart humor and underlying messages, and also comforting escape, meaning a pleasant distraction from reality. Sentences. Adults enjoy cartoons for their clever jokes and subtle life lessons, and cartoons provide a comforting escape. Again, more specific, more insightful reasons, especially that subtle life lessons part.
Yeah, focusing on the nuance again.
Exactly. Why people make others laugh. Instead of just tells jokes, Band 9 used quick wit, meaning ability to make clever and funny remarks instantly.
Quick wit.
Sentence. One of my colleagues is known for her quick wit. Describes a quality, a skill, not just the action.
Right, a specific talent.
Precisely. And related to the benefit for the joker, instead of just makes them feel happy, the response used boosts confidence, meaning increases self-assurance. Sentence. Making others laugh boosts the joker's own confidence. A deeper psychological insight, maybe?
A bit deeper, yeah. And teachers using humor.
Right, teachers. Instead of makes the lessons more interesting or helps students feel relaxed, Band 9 used the idiom lighten the mood, meaning make a tense or serious situation more relaxed.
Ah, another great idiom.
Really useful one. Sentence. Her jokes always lighten the mood during meetings,
Mm.
conveys the effect on the atmosphere.
Nice.
In discussing the appropriateness of jokes in class, Band 9 introduced the concept of inclusive humor, meaning jokes that don't offend and can be enjoyed by all.
Oh, that's important.
Really important nuance, especially for a classroom sentence. Classroom humor should be appropriate and inclusive.
Adds a crucial dimension there.
And finally, the benefit for student learning. It went beyond help students pay attention or enjoy learning more to enhance memory retention, meaning help students remember things better.
Okay. Enhance memory retention.
Sentence. Funny anecdotes helped us enhance memory retention. Much more formal, specific term for aiding learning.
Wow. So comparing part 3 across the bands, band 9 uses phrases that are often more idiomatic, like unwind or lighten the mood.
Yeah,
More specific, quick wit, inclusive humor. Sometimes a higher or more formal register, like build social brands or enhance memory retention.
that were appropriate.
And it combines ideas more complexly, like that blend of creativity, nostalgia, and humor.
Exactly. So what this whole analysis shows us, looking directly at these examples from the source, is that the jump from a high band 8 to a band 9, it isn't necessarily about knowing like incredibly rare words you'd never use.
Right. It's not about swallowing a dictionary.
Not at all. It's about using language with greater precision, with more nuance, more variety, and just sounding natural across different topics and levels of formality. It's choosing the best word or phrase to capture exactly what you mean.
And it's about weaving those words and phrases into your speech smoothly, isn't it? Not just like dropping them in awkwardly.
Absolutely. The Band 9 responses felt effortless, partly because the vocabulary felt natural in context. It flowed.
So, what's the takeaway here for you, the listener, whether you're prepping for IELTS or just want to communicate better day to day?
Well, start noticing these differences yourself. When you hear someone describe something really well or explain an idea clearly, pay attention to the specific words they use.
Yeah.
Ask yourself, why did they choose that word? How did it make it more effective?
And don't just memorize definitions from a list, right? Learn words in context. See how they actually work in sentences, in conversations. Maybe try substituting some of these more precise band 9 words for more common ones when you're practicing speaking or writing. See how it changes the feel.
Exactly. It's about building your active vocabulary, the words you can actually use, and just becoming more mindful, more deliberate about your word choices.
Okay, and that brings us towards the end of this deep dive. We've listened to those Band 8 and Band 9 simulations,
Side by side.
and then we went through the source material piece by piece to really dissect the vocabulary that makes that difference.
And remember, the ultimate goal isn't just a bigger vocabulary list, it's a more effective vocabulary.
Mm.
Using the right words to express yourself clearly, precisely, and, naturally.
So here's a little something to think about as you go about your week. A provocative thought, maybe. Consider how even small tweaks, small changes in your word choices can actually dramatically change how clearly and effectively you get your ideas across. Or even just simple feelings. So maybe pick an everyday topic this week, something you talked about recently or something you see. Try describing it, maybe just to yourself or to a friend, but consciously try to use 1 or 2 bits of more specific or nuanced vocabulary. Maybe something you heard today or something else you notice.
Yeah, challenge yourself to notice language more and then try using it more deliberately. It's a practice, right?
Yeah.
But it's one that can make a real difference over time.
Definitely food for thought.